Their twisted truth and charcoal glass. The insults flew but missed their mark, left me standing in the dark. An easy target they proclaim, just 'cause I refuse to play their game. Too honest for my own damn good, I stood my ground just like I should. I got a strong this past long year, through every laugh and every tear. They knocked me down, but here I rise, like a phoenix blazing through the skies. Like a phoenix blazing through the sky. Now you're stuck with me, it's clear to see. New friends lift me endlessly. The change in me is plain and true. I'm strong and wild and free like you. I got as strong this past long year, through every laugh and every tear. They knocked me down, but here I rise, like a phoenix blazing through the skies. Like a phoenix blazing through the They try to change.
Okay, you have to shut off the song. I learned something new. Hi, everybody. How you doing? Thank you for coming in. Thank you so much. I'm going to apologize for my voice ahead of time. My family was here and I talked for 2 weeks when I really hadn't talked too much. So I have some warm water and honey, but it's not doing much. So I do apologize if my voice sounds gravelly. Anyway, I was thinking the other night about January and what the anticipation of the new year has done with me and my grief. And just as a background, in case you don't know already, I lost my husband last December, early December. And so I'm past the year mark now. And when my family was here, I was really filled with a lot of hope and anticipation for the new year. And when they left yesterday morning, this place was so quiet. I felt so alone. And all of the old feelings came back to just hibernate, you know? And everybody handles their grief differently. When my husband first died, I had this energy, planned the funeral, got a bagpiper, was surrounded by loved ones and friends. And I had a business to attend to, and I attacked that with a vengeance. I know now that I was still in shock, and I was running just on autopilot. And by February, just a couple of months, the grief really set in as far as crying, needing some kind of reassurance. And that lasted for a few months. Then I found out that it wasn't wise to continue running the business without my husband. He was the backbone, as my father had been. He was doing the work on the street, the investigations, and I was doing everything inside. And it just wasn't making any sense. I had to turn down a lot of jobs, and what I could do was minimal. And it really didn't justify the insurances I needed to carry, especially the cyber breach policy, which is just absolutely ridiculous for businesses. And I just decided it was time to close. And when I came to that realization in June, I just shut down. And that's about the time I found YouTube. And that was a great distraction, which helped me shut down and hibernate on the couch. I overate. I've gained back all the weight I had lost in 2024. But I couldn't seem to snap myself out of it. And like I said, YouTube was a good distraction to avoid doing that. Now that I know the new year is upon me and I've experienced all the firsts that there are, and I didn't even think about when Mike was, when we had his celebration of life. So that was the final first on December 28th. I know now that I need to push myself. And I want to say before I get into any of this that every single situation is different with grief, whether it's who you're grieving, how long they were in your life, how integral to your life they were, and then just all the personal things on how you handle things, how you are affected by things. There's no, like, it's like every snowflake is different. Every single case of grief is different. So I'm just going to put out there, I am not a grief counselor. I am only sharing my personal experience. And if it helps one person, then I'm glad. So I started a live maybe last night. It was last night. I just started talking to myself. And then I took it down because it wasn't organized. And I'm not really an off the cuff person. I took it down immediately, but I'm going to say the same things here today, just in a more organized fashion. I know now, I'm at the stage I'm at, I know I need to push myself, and that might not be right for everybody. I don't have the situation where I can just continue to hibernate here. And I think why people in grief hibernate or stay in a certain spot is they feel safe. Mike was my anchor, my best friend, my financial stability. He was everything to me, with the exception of God, of course. He was more to me than even my parents were when they passed. He was everything to me. My whole world was turned upside down. So it's been really easy to stay here and be safe. The thoughts go through your head that you might not even think of this. You go out for a car ride. What if I have an accident? Who's going to take care of Brody? What if I get sick? Who's going to take care of Brody? Just all these things. And it's not as easy as you might think. Well, Cindy, you have a local son. He can do it. No, he has a very important job. His wife works, and they have a huge German Shepherd who would have Brody for lunch. So it's not that easy. My neighbors have their own lives. I would make do, but these are all the things you need to think about. I now have a card in my wallet that if I'm involved in an accident, there's a pet home alone. Just all these crazy things. And sometimes you just get so overwhelmed with your fears that staying home is much easier. And that's where I've been. But I need to break out of that. So I've got a business to close down, financial reports, tax obligations. I've paid all my taxes, but I mean filing the returns, the W-2s, the 1099s from this year. And I need to get on all that and balance the checkbook for the past quarter. I haven't done it yet. Just all these things. So I did make a plan, which I'm going to share in a little bit. I've actually written it down, and I would recommend anyone in this position to do that because I think it really helps. Before I do that, I'm going to just go through some things. Okay. I want to remind you of these things, that there's no right way to grieve. So you may, anyone watching this may grieve differently than I am, may handle things differently. I can't say it enough. I know I keep repeating myself, but I don't want my video to be used, oh, I've got to be doing this at a year, like Cindy did. No, you don't. It might be 2 years, it might be 6 months, it might be 8 months. But at some point, we do have to get back to our routine. I feel so blessed to have been able to stay here for the first year and few months, whatever it will end up being this year. I didn't have to make any big decisions, and that's what they recommend. So I feel so fortunate to have been able to do that. So there's no right way to grieve. Your feelings are valid. Whatever you're feeling is valid. It's not stupid. It's not silly. You're not weak. Okay. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish. Eat properly, drink your water, eat healthfully, go to bed where you get your 8 hours. Just all these things. Do your skincare, relax in a bathtub. And remember, like I've been saying, grief doesn't follow a schedule. I'm at a certain point where I need to push myself forward. That's going to be different for everyone. And also remember, you don't have to carry it alone. Let's face it, part of the reason I'm doing this is it's like I'm talking to other people. And I often get feedback about my videos, and they mean a lot to other people. So it helps me unburden. It helps me think things through. It helps me organize my brain so that the thoughts aren't all so jumbled. Let me look back in the comments. I don't want to ignore you guys. So we all said hi to each other. Oh, another reminder, if you're not on, set your chat filter to all messages so everyone can see Lady Fanny. For some reason, she's hidden, and there may be other people like that too. Let's just go down here. Oh, Sean is in here. Hi, Sean. He's watching with Becky. Annabelle, hi, guys. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming in. Wow, lots of highs. I'm just going down the list. Yes, live chat, please. Okay, Becky says when her dad passed, she was devastated. My wee sister wanted to end herself. Oh my goodness. Took a long time for my brothers, me, and my mom to help her not. Oh my gosh, Becky, I'm so sorry. Some people think if they do nothing, the circumstances will change and get out and go back to how life was. I think for those people, acceptance is difficult. Yeah, I mean, there's a time when you just can't even believe it. You just want it to all go back. Put it back. Please put it back, God, No, grief is not linear. I had shown a graphic before in my other videos, which I want to remind people, if anyone's watching this back and they're new, there's 2 other videos in the lives in the series, and we discuss grief a little bit more in depth. Yeah, we don't know why Lady Fanny's hidden. And I think part of there we go, that's better. Part of our process through the grief process, our journey through the grief process, you need to remember what you can and can't control. And here's some of the things in that circle that you can control. You can make a space for grief. You can control your expectations, taking thoughts captive, finding your community, getting rest, gratitude in the hard times, comparison, anchoring in God's word. So you don't want to compare yourself to someone else, okay? And always feel gratitude or remember gratitude in the hard times. I go to bed every night, and it's a difficult time of day for me. It's also a comforting time of day for me because it's my bed, my bedroom. It's a very safe place, but it is also a place where I sometimes miss Mike the most. just his presence, he would rub my back almost every night. The guy was amazing. And there was just such a sense of peace and closure to the day. But now I do a lot of praying and meditating there. And I am so grateful for the roof over my head, the food on my table, my family, that for some reason God is keeping them safe because I can't even imagine something else happening. It sends me into a tailspin. So I am just so grateful every day. And finding community, I found part of my community here. I found part of my community in my neighborhood. People know that I've lost Mike and they've reached out and they tag base with me. Everybody doesn't disappear like you hear about. I've been very lucky that I still have people reaching out to me. And what we can't control is on the outside of that circle. Gosh, you're going to get triggered. At any point, you can get triggered for no reason, or sometimes you do know the reason. On the 9th of every month, I get triggered because my mind invariably goes back to his death. And what could I have done differently? And, the police coming here, and it's really hard. It's getting better. That's the important thing. I would say, just interject here, if you're not getting better and you're getting worse, you really need to seek a grief counselor. It's very, very important. You might need an antidepressant, anti-anxiety medicine. I am on some. I immediately was put on it. I am still on it. But I would still cry and panic on that medicine. Now I'm finding that I think the medicine is working alone, where I don't have those moments of panic and, horrible grief anymore. So I think the medication is now, the grief is such that the medication can now be seen, if that makes sense. And you can't control that bodily response. Fortunately, you can't control massive change. I have to move. I could squeak by staying here, but I choose not to live my life like that, where, I might not be able to give Christmas gifts or birthday presents or, buy something special. I can't, I don't want to live. I choose not to live like that, to stay in a house that only has me and maintain a yard and everything. The loss of your identity. Just personally, I lost my identity as a wife and sort of as a homemaker, because everything I did around here was basically for Mike and I. And I lost my identity as a businesswoman this year. So the two together, when that second part came, the businesswoman part came, that's when I shut down. I was handling the loss of Mike, and it was almost like work was carrying me on, and giving me a sense of purpose. When I lost that identity too, within 6 months, that did me in. You've lost your future. Not your future per se, but the future you dreamed about, the future you took for granted, the future you planned. You cannot control how others respond. Try to give them grace. Many times people don't know what to say. And I think we've all learned by now, one of the best things to say is, I don't know what to say. I'm here. I'm here for you. Unless you've lost the person the other person has lost, don't say you understand or you completely understand, because you can't. But I could say to another widow, I understand your pain, or I understand what your pain might be like. I've gone through this. I'm here for you. Oh, and friendship and relationship changes, they're almost inevitable. The saying that you find out who your real friends are is absolutely true. I've been lucky. I would say in the beginning, like my best friend, I hardly heard from her at all. And I found out she was grieving. She was grieving very deeply for Mike. And she didn't want to bring me down, or if I was having a good day, she didn't want to remind me about my grief. But she was with us as a couple since we were first married. She was my maid of honor. So she knew him very well, and she loved him. You can't control the intensity of your emotions. You can't control grief brain, absent-minded, fogginess, forgetfulness, repeating yourself. Just give yourself some grace. And you can't control the speed of your healing, which we've already talked about. So I don't know why I went from on that circle. I went from the 11 o'clock position around clockwise. That's weird. That must mean something. Anna, does that mean something? Oh, so I'm faced with a lot of decisions ahead, and a lot of people are when they lose someone they love. It changes your future, even if it's parents, a sibling. It can just change everything. And I have certain decisions ahead that I have to make. Sometimes they're overwhelming. I'll go back to writing down to work things out, making lists. I don't have a lot of options, and the options I have are life-changing, like life-altering, where I've been born and bred where I live now, and I am going somewhere other than Mike and I visiting his parents in that location. I am going somewhere that is so different, climate-wise, gardening-wise, seasonally. It's just crazy. I may like it, I may hate it. I don't know, but that's where I'm going. And I've got to decide, what am I going to keep? What am I going to get rid of? What am I going to move with me? Am I going to get a storage bin, or I'm just going to go basically empty-handed? Am I going to take my bedroom set, or I'm going to get a new one? It's just constant decisions, constant. I've already lost 2 viewers, and I don't blame them. So you need to make a plan. Before I do that, let me do this. I'm not going to go through all of these. You can read them. These are ways to distract yourself when you are at home. I'm going to be using some of these in the plan that I'm going to talk about in a moment. I think a journal is really important. Organize something is going to be something that I'm going to be needing to do daily from now until I put the house on the market. So that's going to be part of my plan. Do a task you've been putting off. These are all things that I've kind of cherry picked from this list. Watch a movie. Been there, done that. I've watched way too much TV. Watch funny YouTube videos. I could make a comment here, but I won't. I think what I've been watching is funny. Let me just put it that way. Work in the yard. Can't do that right now. Worship or pray. So important if you have a faith, whatever that faith may be. So, New Year's resolutions for grieving. I think that anybody, wherever they are in the process, can benefit from this list. I resolve to not place time limits on my grief. I resolve to acknowledge my grief as my own. I resolve to be mindful of the need for flexibility. So important. To accept that others may not understand, and that's okay, okay? To express my feelings without guilt. Very important. You need to find that person or people to whom you can express your feelings and not worry about any judgment at all. I resolve to be grateful for the concern of others. I resolve to accept the support of others. This is difficult for some of us. It's difficult for me, but I've learned that when you accept what others are doing for you, you're blessing them. You're allowing them to feel good. And it was hard for me in the very beginning. A man contacted me. I didn't even know, but he was from the area, and he said, I'm going to fix the lights on your wreath, the dining room wreath that Mike was going to do the day after he passed. He brought that wreath in when he left the house and said, I'm going to fix these lights tonight. So that man did that for me. And then he shoveled and salted my walks that entire winter, last winter. And it was hard for me to accept that for free. But someone told me, Cindy, when you do that, you're blessing them. I resolved to extend myself grace and patience, to find a little way each day to reinvest in life. Boy, that's powerful. That's really powerful. I need to work on that. And I resolve to continue to speak my loved one's name, which goes without saying. So, the plan. I have these we have teleprompters on StreamYard. It's so cool. Let me get my teleprompter up. Okay. So my January plan is, and this is what I was verbalizing last night on the live that was deleted. I've got to go back more to a routine. This may sound so elementary to all of you. You may be thinking, oh, I do that every day. Like, what's the big deal? This is going to be a big deal for me. I wake up early every morning with Brody. It's not light yet when the little stinker wants to eat. And it's not so much going potty. He wants to eat. So I wake up with him, feed him, and I let him out and get my decaf. Okay, that's not going to change. What I would normally do is sit my butt right down on the couch and turn on YouTube, go through WhatsApp messages, etc. That's going to change. He and I are going to go right back upstairs. I'm going to get showered and dressed. And then I'm going to go right into my office upstairs and work for as long as I can. My goal is 4 hours. Brody will go to sleep. I will be able to do that. If I don't do that, the only person to blame will be myself. So it's going to be tough getting back to work. I haven't worked in a few months, but I need to do it. I need to tie up loose ends and just do it. And it's kind of scary too, because you're faced with the numbers, the realities of finances, and what's still outstanding for the business, and what needs to come in and what needs to still go out with bills. And it's a hard time. I've always been one who kind of shies away from that reality, but I need to face it. And it's not going to be bad news. I know basically what's going to happen. I'll be fine, but I don't know what it is about me just not being able to tackle that. But I will be, and beginning Monday. And then I'm going to come back downstairs for a healthy lunch. Okay, this goes back to reinvesting in my life. All right. I need to lose the weight. I need to get healthy. I need to feel better for everybody. That's the responsible thing to do. I can't just keep stuffing down my emotions with food. And let Brody outside again. And then I am going to I'm going to catch up on news, YouTube, etc. Then I'm going to get up off my butt again. And I'm going to clean out something every single day, maybe not the weekends. I'll see how it goes. I'm not going to make some crazy goal. It may just be the junk drawer in the kitchen. It may be the beginning of a closet. And I'm going to work for 1 hour at least. If I'm on a roll and I feel like continuing, I will. Then I'm going to come down and make a healthy dinner. And at that point, probably film some content for my channel. And then I'm going to relax. I will feel so good every day having accomplished what I used to accomplish every day anyway, but I just haven't been lately. So that's the plan. And I would love for anybody to come up who would like to talk about what I've said, maybe what their experiences have been. And I'm going to go look through the chat while I do that. And I'm going to take down this banner. So anybody who wants to come up, you're more than welcome to. Lady Fanny, you had mentioned earlier. I do miss the routine, Denise. You're right. And I think once I get in it, and I think something I'm going to add at some point is moving my bod. Probably when I come down for that early morning, do a stretching or a walking in place video, something like that. I have a YouTube channel I enjoy where I could start. I should probably add that, but I don't want to get too involved the first week or so. Yeah, it will basically be my food, Hey there.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Oh, good. I can hear you.
Hey guys, how do I sound with Lady Fanny on here? because I don't have my headphones. Let me know if there's any echo at all.
I don't hear an echo.
Did you hear the one with Denise yesterday?
Yeah, I was on the one with Denise when it was echoing. It stopped as soon as I put my earbuds in.
No echo. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Zephyr. That's cool. That's good. I'm not going to put on my earphones then. So how are you, Missy?
I'm good. I while you were talking, I posted some phone numbers for grief hotlines.
Ooh.
One for the U.S., the U.S. national line. In the U.K., they don't have a national line, so to speak, but there are several organizations. I think I posted 2 numbers. And in Australia, I posted a phone number also.
Okay, I'll
So
get
if
down
you
to
can't
that.
talk to one of us or a friend, there is always someone out there you can talk to.
Hey, Alex, bite me. Bite me. I'm not monetized. Go away. You're not wanted here.
Wow, I didn't even. Oh, there it is. No, I didn't even see
He's
it.
gone.
Good. That was quick. Yeah, so there's always someone out there. If you're involved in a church, just you can always call your minister
Yep,
or
that's a very
church
good point.
members. If you're working, here in the U.S., depending on how big the organization is, you may have on staff, or they can direct you immediately to somebody who works with the company as a mental health provider for a direct contact without having to go through your doctor real quick and everything. So always check into that.
Oh, hi, Trevor.
Hi, Trevor.
You want to
You
come up?
see
Just
it.
click the link, Trevor, because you lost
Yeah, I
your
didn't
dear
see that.
dad.
Yeah, I didn't even see it, Trevor. It was so quick.
I can't believe what I said to Alex.
and and grief is not linear. It's all over the place. What do they call it? The 5 stages of grief. Oh, it's like lines just going all over. You hit this one, but you'll go back to that one, and you bounce all over. And you think you're fine, and then you can open up a drawer, and then all of a sudden see something,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it triggers it.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh.
So grief is a parent, a
Yeah.
sibling, an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent, a
When?
pet.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I actually put Mike's urn in a cabinet for not it's a glass cabinet for Christmas, and because there was just so many decorations and stuff, and I'm going to put it back out in the dining room because I really missed seeing it. It was just kind of a place for me to sit and talk to him. I mean, I know where he is, but it made me feel better. But when he first passed, I wanted to clean out all his drawers and just get rid of everything except maybe a couple shirts. And I didn't do it, and I'm glad I didn't. But now I find it incredibly hard to think about doing.
Yeah,
So
I was after my mom died. I knew if I didn't go into her room and start cleaning out and donating things, it would have been too easy to close her door and not open it again. So I had that is something I had to do within the first month of her death. I had, because it would probably still be there if I
right.
didn't do that. So that was me trying to deal with the reality and things for me that had to be done. So,
Right.
but everyone handles it differently,
That's right.
you know.
Everybody has to do it differently.
Because she had told me something she wanted done and stuff like that. So for me to make sure it got done right, I did it right away. So I wouldn't forget how she wanted it done either. So it was important for me to carry out those wishes as soon as I
Right.
could. And to do that, I had to go through her stuff and take care of it all.
Right. I found that the kids wanted a lot of stuff in the beginning, and I wasn't ready to let anything go. I did, of course, I let go his Bible to Sean and, some other things. But there was a shirt that my daughter wanted. I just gave it to her, this past month when she was here. I couldn't do it a year ago. It was from the Masters golf tournament, which was a huge part of his life and what he did. He went to the Masters a lot. And I am not seeing those phone numbers, Lady Fanny.
I scroll. See, did you put yourself on live chat?
Oh, oh no, I see your other comments though.
Okay, yeah, they're.
Okay, well, I hope everybody saw them.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, they're. I can see them, but I'm the one who.
Okay, good. All right.
They're in 3 different posts, so they weren't all posted together.
Oh, okay.
There's 2 for UK, 1 for US, 1 for Australia.
I don't see where I can change my post setting. Maybe I have to do that through YouTube. Let me just check a minute.
Yeah, Annabelle, it just happens out of the blue. It's amazing what can bring back a flood of memories. And it's always, you're never prepared for it, Never prepared for it. It just happens.
Well, Anna's loss is so recent too.
Yeah. And I learned you just got to go. It's a process. Let the process happen. For me, it's been 5 years since my mother's death, and it's amazing what can trigger a flood of memories.
Well, that's weird. I can't get into the live on my phone.
Oh, see, I'm on my computer, and I got 2 screens, so I'm kind of
I'm on my laptop. That's funny.
Yeah. I'm on my laptop, and I have a second screen. So.
Yeah, Zephyr, that was my instinct too, to do it right away. And my son, my eldest, really balked at that. He said, Dad's dresser should be a shrine. Everybody had an opinion,
Right.
and I'm kind of glad I didn't do it then, but it's not going to make any difference. I'm going to have to do the same thing just later.
Right. Yeah. This is something that you probably wouldn't want to move with you.
Penny, hi. Absolutely. Thank you for coming, Penny. I did see you were here. Yeah, there's a shirt. There are shirts I want to keep for sure. And shirts that just, that you just love seeing on them or loved seeing on them. And they were just that. I'm definitely keeping them for sure.
I kept things of my mom's because we were similar sizes. So, and there was one thing I had made her actually, and I could not wear it until like this past winter. But there was other things I wore. Usually some shirts and that. I feel closer to her when I do.
Yeah. I did put on my headphones. Do I sound any better?
You sound just the same.
Okay. I guess my laptop must be pretty good. Annabelle. Hello, sweetheart.
Hi,
Annabelle.
Hi, Lady Fanny. It is nice to meet you digitally.
Nice to meet you too.
Oh, hang on. I got my sound didn't click off. So, hi.
Hi. How are you doing, Annabelle?
I'm okay, but I actually have like a practical question. I'm not here to like throw the couch cushions around like Greg and I usually do. So some people know what happened. One of my very best girlfriends passed away, likely from a substance situation. We don't really know. Her mom, she was an only child.
Mm-hmm.
And her mom is opting, and I've been over to see her mom, and I'm staying in touch with her, making sure her mom's okay, because she doesn't really have a lot of family locally, and she doesn't have a partner. Tiffany was her whole world. It was her only child. It's such a fabulous life. Like, and I know you get this. Like, I was Adina Monsoon and Tiffany was Patsy Stone from like you totally were. And and she passed away sometime between the evening of December 10th and December 15th. So her mother doesn't want to do a service. And for me, I come from a mixed background. So, I've been to Catholic funerals, I've been to Jewish funerals, and I love the Jewish tradition. We bury them as quickly as possible, and that's out of respect. And then we do the 8 days of Shiva, and the 8 days of Shiva it's such a terrifically healing funerary process, because every Jewish funeral that I've ever been to has been, the first few days, doesn't matter. You could be, 99 years old and people are still crying on the first day. But by the time you get, and we're correcting children's behavior and getting people to conduct themselves in a little bit more decorum. But by the time you get to like day 6, day 7, the kids are outside and they're starting to play, and we're starting to tell stories that will bring that individual's life experience into perpetuity for the family and for the friends. And it's such and people go, oh, it's such a prolonged process. And I think it's such a perfect process. So I have been scrambling since the 15th, when I found out Tiffany passed away, for some kind of process for myself. And I'm coming up with nothing.
Oh.
So, and I'm laughing, because that's just, Greg and I have very gallows sense of humor. We try and make the funny out of the tragic. But we had a similar experience when Greg's best friend passed away in 2020, because of COVID, because it was, a COVID death. And it was also a state funeral. He was a police officer.
Right.
His widow had COVID. So, and it was just testing forever. It was such a prolonged experience. He passed away, I guess, December 2nd. I don't think we had the funeral until right before Christmas. So that too, when did we have his funeral?
It was like the 19th.
The 19th, yeah, it's right before Christmas, like the 19th, but it was, again, like a very prolonged experience. So, and I think this is applicable to people that maybe aren't local to the individual that passed away. Like a lot of people are doing, broadcasting the funerals. One of our friends locally, his father just passed away, and the local church did broadcast the funeral, which, was great for people that aren't there. Common. Yeah. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, if you're going to have church services on Sunday for your parishioners and your church members, I don't see a problem with doing that, especially when you have older people that they can't travel for a funeral, or they just can't get out of the house. I think it's wonderful. Yeah.
So what are some of the things that someone in my situation, and I want to mind you, like the my relationship with Tiffany kind of devolved a bit after I had kids. She obviously was going in a very different direction from me. She still maintained a very fabulous life and a very fabulous lifestyle, but when you have kids, you don't have the luxury of hopping on an airplane. She was a flight attendant. I could hop on an airplane with her, at least not wind up anywhere. So what are some of the things, and if we don't have this at hand, maybe we'll have a conversation for later, but what are some of the things that somebody like me can do? There's no closure.
That's what I was going to say. Why don't you, I understand her mother doesn't want to do anything official right now, but do you have a group of friends, even though you haven't been in contact very much, that you all knew and things like that?
So we do. And to be sure, like I was still in contact with her. I just wasn't hanging out with her every single day and sleeping on her couch, 3 days a week as her mother's other daughter who was constantly on the couch. we
And
do
is there
have
some place she really liked to go or something she really liked to do that maybe you and her friends you can just gather and do the and come together and have some closure?
we did discuss that. And there are very few elements that I would want to bring into that equation, me personally. And I don't want to be Julie, the entertainment guide on the Love
Oh,
Boat
you
or
know,
anything. Like I just don't. I don't want to. I don't. I have this issue. I don't want to overstep my bounds in a lot of situations like
Right.
this. So like, especially because her mother said, we're not doing anything. We're going to have her cremated and brought home. And that's it. And I think that is a good route for her mother because she traveled so much. I think her mom really wants to pretend she's just
traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you as friends, I mean, part of the process of a funeral, and I can't speak for everyone. I come from an Italian and Slovak background. And
I get that.
Funerals and weddings is when people see each other the most. It's like, so, and as I get older, it's more funerals than weddings.
Yeah.
So you gather, and years ago when my one grandmother died, there's a picture of all these cousins together for the first time. I can't probably since somebody's wedding 10 years before that, taken outside of the funeral home. And it's one of our favorite pictures because we're all together. And you gather together, you share memories, you laugh, you cry. You're with people that are on that same level that you are at that very moment, that they understand you understand where they're coming from. Laughter through tears. I really think that's part of that closure process that would help you and your friends out. And I would maybe kind of do it with something she liked to do or at a place she liked to go.
Yeah, I'll be honest. And I'm a crier. Like I cry. I have not really cried yet. I've shed a few tears. Like I've gotten a little bit emotional, but I haven't. The floodgates haven't opened yet. And
I wonder how journaling would do for you and lighting a candle by a picture of you and her.
That was kind of what I'm thinking. I think I need to. I mean, for Greg's best friend Chris, and like what a personality! Oh my God, just such a great guy. We have actually an ofrenda. Neither of us are Spanish or Latino at all, but we have an ofrenda for him, and we put all his favorite things up there. So we've got a bottle of what is that? Johnny Walker Black.
It's Johnny Walker Double Black.
It's Johnny Walker Double Black, and if you like whiskey, this is still an acquired taste. It's a little punches you right in the face.
Harsh,
but it's harsh. But every year we would buy Chris a really tacky 4th of July shirt at Walmart. Like the tackier the better. So the first year that he passed, I said we were in Walmart, and I go, I got to get Chris's T-shirt. And Greg goes, well, what are we going to do with it? I said, we'll put it up on the ofrenda. So we have a little battery candle that we light, and we have his mass card, and we have some other bits and bobs up there. You know, the shot glass that, or the whiskey glass that him and Greg would drink out of. We had a set for them. And there's a little figurine of Ric Flair up there. Woo! So, I'm wondering if maybe I need to have a Tiffany ofrenda. Possibly just, it might even wind up being down here. Right. But, like one of the alarming things was that, when people saw that, they were kind of like, oh, like, what are you guys doing?
Oh, why would they? Oh, no. I think
and like every now and then we get somebody who's like, oh, and we have these great pictures of him up there too. And we're like, well, like, how do you honor your dad?
Right.
How do you do that? How do you, because I like to think about celebrating the life that was led.
Right.
So, Chris had a great life. He had a very robust life. He, like I said, everybody loved him. Everybody. He was the center of the universe. Everybody wanted to be gravitate toward him. And in some ways, Tiffany was very much the same. I have this great story. We were at this was back in the day before I was married the first time. We were in our 20s. And she flew in and she was like, oh my God, I need a boyfriend. Let's go up to the city. We'll go to Randy Gerber's bar, the whiskey. So we go up, get dressed up. And, she's big and blonde. And I had like short brown hair at the time. And we go in there and the stockbrokers got out of work and they all flocked around her at the bar and they're all fighting over who's going to buy her a drink. And so I just kind of went away on my own. And I sat down. I already had my little cranberry and seltzer. And I sat down and one of the guys comes over and he sits down across from me. He goes, so you're her ugly friend. And I was like, but he goes, it's okay. It's okay. I'm the ugly friend too. I actually dated him for a little while. My father loved him. Great guy, just not the right guy for me. But, when you lose someone like that, these really big personalities, I feel like they need to be honored in the same mode as that big personality.
Right.
We host Chris's birthday every year here. And we did not do it this year, but we invite a select group of people over and we have like a little barbecue or a little something. We all raise a glass to him.
Wow, that's nice.
It's that's pretty important to us to do that. And his brother, his brother comes over for that. And when we have our Gregtoberfest, we actually have a little station where you can do a shot with Chris. So we have his picture out there and we have a bottle because he was always here. He literally was always here. So I'm wondering if he's still here. Yeah.
Yes, right.
I'm wondering if I need to do the same thing with Tiffany. And that's another thing. Like Chris came to both Greg and I. He showed up here after he passed away. He showed up for his brother. He showed up for some other people. And, a few people have said to me, Tiffany's going to show up for you. And I go, all right, well, let's see what happens. I hope she shows up for scratch off.
Can I ask you a question, Annabelle? Can I ask
Sure.
you a question? Are you allowing yourself to grieve? Have you told yourself it's okay to cry? It's okay to grieve? It's
I don't
okay
think so.
to let her in so she makes contact with you?
Yeah, I don't think I have. I think you hit something there, Lady Fanny, because knowing that I was one of the few people that I was the only person who wanted to do an intervention for her. Mm-hmm. I tried to organize an intervention for her, and there were people that were like, why bother? It was, it was very, so, I've never experienced survivor guilt, and I'm experiencing it now.
Oh,
another question. Are you a little angry at her?
Yes, but I'm in administrative mode. So in administrative mode, I have no room for emotions. All right, I've got to call her mom. I'm going to bring some dinner over so her mom has something to eat, and I want to make sure that her mom is going to be occupied for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and and all of those things were happening. So you're
taking care of everyone but yourself.
Trying to. And I do think that out of chaos, I crave structure, and I crave, kind of getting the dishes done, if you will. And, maybe that is it. I just haven't kind of let myself actually
fall apart.
Yeah. Like I can't fall apart. I've got 2 kids. Nope. I've got 5 cats. I've got 1 dog, 1 husband.
You have 5 million excuses to not fall apart.
Greg said, I hope you have 1 husband.
Well, but you're going to come up with excuses to not fall apart, and then
I am.
You got to tell yourself it's okay. You could tell yourself today, but it may not happen today. It may not happen tomorrow. It's a process.
I do think that I am going to jump into a grief group because I've never felt so unattached to a loss. And this was one of my closest friends. Like I'm
Yeah.
telling you, like we were inseparable. And I just feel incredible. Like I feel like I'm watching it. So when I do past life regressions and I get everybody into their hypnotic state, I'm like, all right, you're going to view this objectively. You're not going to see this like you're invested in it. You're not going to feel the emotion. I am doing that right now. I'm kind of walking through like completely blunted, very, very strange experience of being such an emotional person. You know, it's just very, very strange and not what I expected. You know, likewise, I did not expect my parents to be quite as upset as they were because they, you know, they liked her, but you know, she was the girl who took me dancing at 10 o'clock at night. You know, she was the girl who I rolled in at 5 o'clock in the morning with.
Right.
So I didn't expect them to kind of have the reaction that they did. And my father was blown away. He was so upset and he was blown away. And he was like, I can't believe it. She's so young. My father, I'm the youngest and he thinks I'm almost 55. And every time he hears my age, he's like, how'd you get so old? I'm like, how'd you get? What's wrong with you? So,
You don't look 55.
No.
yeah, he still thinks about us like we're kids. So,
Yeah.
you know, this is definitely food for thought and part of my process. So I thank you both for it. Because I do think that I need to kind of have a talk with myself. I was doing a lot of stuff like redoing some things on my channel, redoing some things, doing my year-end receipts with my business and seeing what I can do better and what I can get rid of. So like I really did. And on top of it, I was Christmas shopping. I was wrapping up sales for the end of the year. So I've been like in this administrative mode for a little bit. So I'm hoping now that I have kind of a lighter, less pressure schedule starting Monday, maybe I'll be able to make some room for grief.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, tell yourself it's okay. Tell yourself it's okay to be angry with her and with the situation. Because I had a cousin who passed suddenly, similar circumstances. We were only a month apart in age. And I was angry. I was angry at him. Anger was stronger than the grief. And
Yeah, I feel like I haven't gotten out of disbelief. I'm stuck in like, that can't be right. That's not right. You know?
And Denise makes a good point. She was also your peer, and that inevitably brings thoughts of our own mortality to us.
yes. Yes.
You know what? That's the thing. Like, I have a very different view of transition because I think that we come back. You know,
Right.
that's
Right.
my belief system. I think we come back time and time again. So I'm not, the only thing I'm worried, I don't want it to hurt. I don't want to feel any pain. I just want to kind of, you know, cross over and do what I have to do. So like that, like I'm not even translating that to this situation.
But
Like,
what
I'm
if you
not-
come back as a bunny?
What's that?
What if you come back as a bunny, though?
Oh, as long as it's not one of those Watership Down bunnies, I'll be happy. You know, honestly, coming back as a house cat is not a bad deal. Like I will come back as a house cat, totally fine with that. You know, have square meals, bathrooms cleaned up by somebody else, and I can jump in a lap whether if I want to or if I don't want to. So I'll come back as a cat. I'm perfectly fine with that. So
Yeah.
but yeah, it's this is a very weird grief experience, and I will be honest. I went back and I rewatched your video, Cindy, on the first grief.
The initial one, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the title, but I did go back and watch that, and it was very, very valuable.
Thank you.
So, and I again, administrative mode, intellectually, I'm kind of
Right.
taking the notes, but I'm not actually doing the work. It's kind of like I'm watching videos about basketball and not actually playing basketball.
Right.
Which we'll see. We'll see how that shakes out at the end of it.
Yeah.
It is.
How long has it been, Anna, since she passed?
She passed away sometime between the 10th and the 15th of December.
Okay. It took like 2 to 3 months for me to really feel the anguish and cry. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. And and like she didn't have social media. Like you can't even like tap in.
Right.
She had a little bit of social media, like she was infrequently on it. Which sucks because like I would send her all these funny videos and funny memes and like, now I'm going back and like none of them were watched. Like maybe like a few of them were watched. So, it's like, oh God, like, the communication wasn't even there.
Yeah.
I mean, she was a cell phone kind of gal, like
Right.
just was let's get on the phone and let's chit chat that way. But as a psychic, as a human, this is weird. As a psychic, it's even weirder because I'm not getting any of my input.
Oh,
So
man.
like, yeah, it's very strange, very strange. So
Who's blocking it?
That's why I asked you, are you allowing it? Because I understand your background. I have a cousin the same way, and I think I can tap sometimes into it. And because my cousin will ask me, well, have you heard? I go, no, but I'm not open right now.
Yeah.
I have to allow myself to be open. And sometimes I'm just not doing that. But my cousin is open. And yeah, she hears from mom. So, because mom was angry because I painted her room green. And she hated the color green. So, she let my cousin know immediately. She painted my room green.
Wow. That's my mother will be doing that, redecorating from beyond the grave.
Oh.
Fortunately, my mom is in very good health. Both my parents are. They're in great health. I'm very, very fortunate. But ladies, we actually have to go. We have to go to a Christmas party.
Oh, okay.
We're like living in all kinds of time zones, but so I thank you both.
Well, thanks for coming up.
I thank you for having me. I think what you're doing, and Cindy, you and I are gonna have a talk next week.
Okay, I need to find my voice.
Yeah. Well, we'll figure that out. Like I think you're going to have some important topics on this channel, and I think we don't want it to be a grief channel, but
no, I don't. But I want it to be like a feature as I go through the process.
And I think that it's important, when my mother-in-law we lost my mother-in-law 2 years ago to cancer. And, as she was getting toward the end, I started following a lot of death doulas. I didn't even know there was such a thing.
I didn't either.
And hospice nurses and things like that. And the press, I actually toyed with the idea of becoming a death doula. I was like, oh, this is right up my alley. Like I can do this. The processes that people go through are very interesting, and they become more interesting when you're in the spiritual psychic realm like I am, because people will have different belief structures. They will want to do things a little bit different, so or differently, I should say. But listen, I think you want to keep this to an hour, so I'm going to pop down.
Okay.
Thank you both very much.
Thank
and
you.
We'll talk next week.
This is going to be cool. Lady Fanny, I don't know if you're still on X or where you are. I think I need to follow you someplace.
Yes. I am not there as Lady Fanny, though.
I'll get you her name.
Oh, we'll talk later. Yeah. You're not going to show your
you can give it to her, but I'm not Lady Fanny there. I go by a different name.
Okay. All right. Right on. All right, ladies. Everybody in the chat, it was great seeing you guys.
Great seeing you, Anna. Have fun at your party.
Yeah, it's a white elephant party, so it's
and
those are fun.
Let us know what you do for closure as you go along.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, gals. I'll see you all later.
All right. Bye. Well, does anybody else want to come up? If not,
I need to go down because I need to start cooking some soup for dinner.
Well, it's probably a good place just to close this out then. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I hope it was helpful. And thank you to the mods and everybody who came. And Lady Fanny again and Annabelle. I really appreciate it. And thanks for listening to me work through this. I hope maybe it helps you. And have a good night or morning or wherever you are. Love to everybody. Bye.